Do you believe the city commissioners should be more than just advisory? If so, what additional responsibilities should commissions assume or be charged with? Additionally, do you believe the current process of appointing the commissioners is objective and effective?
Thank you, Sandra. While in fact a great deal of what the commissioners do, both on the Planning Commission and the Parks, Recreation, and Community Service Commissions, is advisory, there are in fact some functions that they perform that are not merely advisory. For instance, the Planning Commission does have some direct authority, subject to appeals by the council, to hear and decide on applications for conditional use permits, variances, and exceptions. But I guess the real issue, and what we're really talking about, is who we, as citizens of this city, want making these decisions. You know, right now, the way the commissions are selected is, and I know that that's one of the parts of the question, is that each of the council members gets to pick a commissioner. If that commission had the authority to make final decisions on a lot of things, then we'd be ceding the responsibility. The city council would be ceding the responsibility, not accepting their own responsibility, to govern the city. So I actually believe that the way that it's working right now is appropriate. I think that there are certain things that are done, and the commissioners will evaluate, they'll make recommendations, and frequently the council will just accept those recommendations. However, when there's an issue, when there's a problem, it is ultimately the city council's decision. They have to decide who it is that's the party that's going to prevail. They have to decide whether a project is a good project, whether an expenditure of money is an appropriate expenditure of money. So I think it resides in the appropriate place right now. Now, with respect to how commissioners are selected, that's a somewhat contentious issue. There are some very good arguments on both sides, frankly. There has been some talk, instead of having each individual council member selecting a commissioner, of having them do it as a group. After a great deal of thought, I feel that the current method is the most appropriate for the following reason. Every elected council member gets to have some input into who is going to be on a very important commission. If you had, and thankfully we don't, but if you had what many cities, and I've experienced this in my travels with the Sheriff's Department, going around from cities, where you have a situation where you get blocks of council people, they end up voting as a group. They could control who the commissioners were, and as a result, you wouldn't have the ability to have somebody who doesn't think like everybody else appointed by a council member. So I adamantly support the current method of selecting commissioners.